Welcome to TALRadio powered by Touch a Life Foundation. This is another episode of Voices of Impact. Life skills and social consciousness are the foundations of a thriving society. Empowering individuals with these tools lead to transformational change and a better future for all. Today, we are honored to introduce Reach Dr. Kalpana Sampath, a visionary coach, trainer, social entrepreneur, and development artist with over 3 decades of experience. Dr. Kalpana has made significant contribution to corporate organization and educational institutions, focusing on life education for children and social entrepreneurship for youth. Leading EFIL Educational Services, she has impacted over 30,000 lives through more than 3,500 social action projects. From TALRadio, we extend a warm welcome to Dr. Kalpana Sampath.
Thank you, Pavithra. That was quite a dramatic introduction indeed. Thank you so much. Thank you for this honor. And I consider myself extremely blessed to have come across the TAL group. In the entire team is fantastic. And all the experiences we have had in TAL Talks everywhere, we have been very happy. Thank you so much.
Ma'am, the honor is all ours because the introduction that I gave is quite short because you're a person who has delved into a lot of things, and I think I kept my introduction rather short because we want to focus on EFIL, we want to focus on EQUBE and what SAP is all about, and we'll be getting to it in a short minute. So I'd like to start by saying that in the Indian society, there is so much of pressure to be academically proficient, and there is little to no relevance given to life skills. And so you are someone who has dedicated your life to developing life skills in children and to promote social consciousness within them. At what point of time did you think that you should be taking this up and dedicating your life to it? And what relevance does social skills have in the academic world?
One important journey that I also started working with the adults only. I didn't start with education. I didn't start with schools. Already that we had spoken, I had done my HR, MSW. So my the PhD topic was feeling of belongingness amongst the knowledge workers in an organizational setup and its manifestations. Mm-hmm. So I worked with the IT companies. I worked with several people while I was doing my research. And I also joined Dr. Sampath in his workshop. So I was also one of the co-facilitator. But every time we worked on it, it was very interesting that people used to come up and say, hey, Kalpana, I wish I had got this in college. I would have been much better in life. Or I would have chosen a different career, different profession. Or if I had gotten the school, I would have responded very differently to life. Why is it that I did not think of? Some of them were very disturbed. Why am I thinking about this when I'm 40s or when I'm in 50s? Some of the CEOs would be almost 50s, right? So half my lifetime is gone and I'm now sitting and reflecting, sitting and introspecting. It's very unfortunate. Maybe 100 years before, we had a Gurukula system, wherein most of the life issues were dealt with and some amount of understanding on various other academic issues were given to them, which they very quickly picked up, like maybe Shastra, using of the weapons or other things were all a part of practice. But a lot was spent on, depending whether he's a king's prince or something like that, going to be a king, they spent a lot of time on the Rajaniti and, several things like that, wherein people learned how to actually perform and how to lead their life in each of their professions, what they choose and things like that. But over a period of time, when we adopted the modern so-called now education system, we just left the entire life as taken for granted. It is very amazing for me, wherein I see so much of preparation that we have for maths and science and, languages and everything. Nobody's asking you, when you became a mother, were you given any kind of education, as a first time mother as a parent? when you got married, any kind of education and anything, is anybody sitting and speaking to you or even telling you, hey, there would be a time in your life when you would be doing this, or when you're making your choices, when you have to make your career choice, or when you're making a decision to either leave and get on to any other profession. There is nothing in our life where we have the tools, right? So when I was doing this work with the adults, and then, a lot of corporate people, NGOs, development sector, several people, always the same thing, including there are sometimes I've been invited to talk to teachers. But I'm thinking, teachers fine, but who is going to go and talk to the students about this? So at one point of time, I felt we were doing a lot of repair job. I mean,
Mhm,
sorry for
mhm, mhm.
referring in any other way. It was a repairing job because already people had chosen their profession, or they had already found a path, and whether they're happy or not, now they have to have the guts to change their path, or make certain risks. And so people always did the changes in spaces where it was slightly less of a risk. In real risk spaces, they suffered, but they didn't want to change, change resistant, because it is not easy. That is when I thought we have to get to the roots. Okay. And initially I thought getting to root would mean I was teaching in IMB as an
Mhm.
external invited kind of a lecturer, and in some of the courses that they were doing. Then I went into other business schools, so I was thinking, oh, I've already come into a business school. Then I realized I'm late. Already enough mindsets are formulated, understandings of life have already come in. Again, I'm doing some kind of tweaking and repairing and review and reflection for each one of them, and saying, no, this is not life, look at it differently. Then I decided, no, it should be 8, 9, 10. So we got opportunities through NIE, newspaper and education program, and other things where we started to look at students in a different way. There I was late. Then we came to 5, 6, 7. Now we are from 1 to 10.
Oh, wow.
Because that is the formulation stage. That's when you're looking into the life. As much as you're looking into your arithmetic, you're also looking into interaction with other children. You're looking into managing your emotions. You're looking into, so everybody is giving you lot of, feedbacks by saying that, oh, you should improve in class. That's what a teacher writes,
Mhm.
or he's very emotional. He has to manage his emotions. But who's going to teach me how to do it?
Yeah.
Right? So after working for nearly 15 years, that's the time I said I want to make a shift.
Mhm.
I have worked enough with the adults, but if actually our work should stop with the adults, we should have done a good work in the schools. Then the adults
Correct.
will not need this. Imagine, we started an organization called Shema Technologies,
Mhm.
and that was, we were one of the founder promoters there. Very interestingly, the first set of the software engineers who came, almost about 500 of them, 5,500 of induction program. We were doing so much of life education in induction.
Mhm.
It
Wow.
was a very critical part. I'm thinking, as engineers, why are we still talking about this? Because nobody has told them how to engineer life,
Yeah.
isn't it? So
Correct.
therefore, they have never really thought about it. So that is when we realize the importance. And one
Mhm.
big distinction we make.
Mhm.
I'm not into social skills, I'm not into life skills. Skill is
Mhm.
something that you give as a capacity for a person. If
Mhm.
you're not good in communication, we teach you how to communicate.
Mhm.
Okay. And if you are not good in managing your emotions, we teach you how to identify, manage emotions. So we are giving a lot of capabilities and skills, building that capability and growing a capability. But in our life education program, we are
Mhm.
asking them, where are they using their capabilities?
Mhm.
I'm good in communication. I can either use it to build something, or I can use it to destroy a whole lot of things. You have seen our media,
Yes. Yes.
isn't it?
Beautifully
They know
put.
how to
Beautifully put.
talk, isn't it? I have a knife in my hand. I can become a surgeon, or I can murder somebody.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So I have a lot of skills I kind of acquire as a child, as a youth around me, but it is life education which teaches us. Otherwise, it's very, sometimes when I Google life education, it goes to how to manage, how to manage your home, it's gone to the basics. But according to us, life education is a process where you are able to review, reflect, and introspect on what you are doing, develop your own processes, and therefore your larger vision in life, so that whatever you are doing is meaningful and mindful. That is how I think is life education.
Beautiful, beautiful, ma'am. And I just love how blunt you were about the reparation that you were doing to people, because it deeply resonates with me, because it took 31 years of age for me to figure out that what I'm good at. Because that level of introspection was never a part of my academic life. And I wish that I could have had some sort of education, life skill education. And I love how EQUBE is tailoring it for every student. So if one student is lacking in communication skill is what the student requires. That's the area in which the student needs help. So this is just amazing. And now I'd like to talk about a bit about the mental health aspect of it. You spoke about emotional resilience. I think we live in a generation where there is so much of conversation around mental health, emotional resilience, emotional quotient. And I was wondering, how can an average student really manage the academic drive and also emotional resilience, having social consciousness, and then go into becoming a social entrepreneur? And in this process, what elements in the EQ curriculum help them in becoming socially conscious and eventually a social entrepreneur?
Pavithra, like what I explained to you earlier, what we are doing is, as much as you have tools, processes, concepts for all academic subjects, we have developed a complete curriculum from first grade to 10th grade, which also has equally tools, processes, and concepts.
Mhm.
Okay, so it is not actually different or varied or anything. Second thing, it is not actually something which is like extracurricular. It is a part of the curriculum. That's why we have made it mandatory. The schools which have taken this are all understood. It is a mandatory subject, and therefore it's a part of it for them. Okay. And CBSE Council or ICSE Council, all of them recognize, they have given in their timetable a space. So what we have done is we have developed similar to an arithmetic. First, you will go with numbers, then you go with your, addition, subtraction, then, division and multiplication. Then you go with three numbers, then you go with statement problems. Then you go, like you are slowly developing a child from a first grade to 10th grade till they come to Pythagoras theorem and understand, various dimensions. Similarly, whether even physics, chemistry, all of them are like that, right? So similarly, we also have from first grade to 10th grade. So first we start with, basically in the first grade, it is something to do me as the first time me and this figure ground concept is happening, figure and self concept. So suddenly I'm becoming real. I'm talking to myself. I'm looking, and many of the first graders sometimes will talk as though with their name. Like they will say, Kalpana wants this, Kalpana is like that. If I'm a first grader, I would have said this. Sometimes you would have seen your child also, no, sometimes referring, and they do a lot of play activity with their doll and with the way they treat their doll, how they are being treated. Okay, so everything is a play for them. And then in the second grade, that is where I see that usually when I'm saying grades, it's anywhere it starts around 5 years, 6 years, okay, around that stage. So around 6, 7, they are usually very vulnerable in their life. They are explorative. They want to dare a few things. So the safety dimension becomes very important. If they are in the kitchen, they want to see how you are, putting your gas on and what you are doing. So when you are not there, they want to try it out and see.
Yeah.
If there is a knife, they want to see whether they can cut their own fruit or something like that. If they are crossing the road, they want to leave your hand and want to cross the road. And that is where they are also so vulnerable in the society as of today. Even the child abuse or anything happens around that age, because they are explorative, so they're little bit there, and they become vulnerable to others also. The touch, they don't know, they don't understand all these things, and they want to do their own stuff, because suddenly there is a little bit of a differentiation between them and the parents that they are making for themselves. Like suddenly the identity
Yeah.
is coming. So my entire second grade is all about safety. Then from there, they want to respond to situations. So, and everybody will also be telling them, no, you're grown up, why don't you keep your bag? You're grown up. Why don't you say, kept water? Why don't you put proper soap into your hand and wash and come? What do you want mommy to do everything for you or papa to do everything for you? So we are saying these things. We are telling the children to take responsibility. They don't know what it is. So therefore, in the third grade, we do response plus ability is responsibility. My ability to respond to different situations. It could be my physical status, my mental status, my ability to handle the environment, my room, how I keep, my wet waste, dry waste, all the waste that I generate, where do I throw?
Mhm.
So they start slowly also assuming certain responsibilities within the house to take care of it in small assignments. So the entire thing is a logical understanding of the brain for them to understand there's a response to a situation. Now, what blocks the response to situation? Emotions.
Mm.
I know I have to throw my chocolate paper there, but right now I'm playing a game. So I'm very lazy. I just throw it there. Okay. I know I can wait for another 10 minutes for the food to come in, but my need to go and play is much more higher. So therefore, I grab and eat whatever is there rather than eating in the right way. Right. So my emotions comes in between, and all of a sudden these emotions can be temper tantrums, can be,
Mhm.
also happiness, can be also wanting to support and, save their siblings from many things. So it can be in varied ways. So what we have used is Navarasas. According
Mhm.
to me, Bharata Shastra is one of the most primary and very important Eastern philosophy to understand emotions.
Mhm.
Emotion for me is not an intelligence. Emotion for me is a consciousness.
Mhm.
Okay, there is a Sthayi Baba, there is a Sanchari Baba. Both are available. That is, there is a primary emotion. There are secondary emotions which runs inside the primary emotion. Mother is angry. She looks angry. Is shouting at me. But why? Because she loves me and she cares for me.
Mhm.
Okay. Teacher is upset. She's asking me to do one thing. Why? Because she's concerned that I have to learn and I have to finish. So ability of somebody to see the primary emotional consciousness and the secondary emotions that are displayed. Secondary emotions are the
Mm.
expression. Primary emotions are the deep down, right? So
Yeah.
we bring navarasas and emotional consciousness. So child understands that I need to identify, I need to manage, I need to be able to recognize emotions in others
Mhm.
and respond to it.
Yeah.
Then, having responded, we bring them to another space saying, so, okay, what is life then? You have your logical thinking, you have your response to emotions, both put together become stories in life. Every day is a story, every event is a story, every little thing is a story. So they start understanding life is nothing but a string of stories. And if I want to have a great story when I'm 60-year-old, I need to start my story today. I can't have a great life story without having everyday stories being great, right?
Yeah.
So therefore, I need to understand my stories. I need to string the stories. I need to reflect on my stories. I need to go to the base of my stories. While
Mm.
I'm going, I realize that every story is representing a value.
Mm.
So 64 value words we introduced to a child in fifth grade
Mhm.
in a game format of a value tree. Okay, they put all the leaves there, which leaves should be important, which leaves should move. From there, we move on to the sixth grade where we are talking of beliefs. So, how
Mhm.
do all the stories, how do all the values happen? They are nothing but my beliefs, my conclusions, my beliefs out of every experience. And in seventh grade, we are asking, can you be mindful with everything? Are you going to live a horizontal life along the knowledge? Or are you going to lead a deeper, meaningful, mindful life with your insights and with your understandings and wisdom? So they are going deeper into learn to learn.
Mm.
Then, having done all these things, what is the purpose? So vision comes in eighth grade. Everybody is asking them, what's your life about? What do you want to do? Which subject you want to take? Which career you want to take? Bombarded by that. So unless
Mm.
I don't have a roadmap, so they actually do a 20-year roadmap, 2025 roadmap they will develop where I want to be, at least where I dream to be. What is my, life purpose? What is it that I should be doing? Which university I want to go to? Where I want to study? What subject I'm interested in? Then from there, they go on to understand, okay, if I have to do all these things, I have to live within the society. I am in one of the subsystems.
Mhm.
So therefore, they work on two important processes, and they are also teenagers by then. They are 14, 15. So they work on two processes of ability to share oneself, be social enough to connect to other human beings, at the same time to give, receive feedback, and to give feedback, because feedback is the biggest block for them at that time to grow and learn and develop. Because one end they feel they know everything. I've seen life, I know everything. On another end, every day they're getting feedback as teenagers.
Mhm.
From all corners, they're getting feedback. So what do you do? So we even do Johari window for them in ninth grade, actually. So they learn the feedback, and we have our own instrument called life orientation instrument, 30
Mhm.
attributes. So they go through that. They do a 360-degree feedback, actually, They try to get feedback from everybody else, understand who they have become, what they want to be, where they need to work on. And finally, with all these things, when they come and stand in 10th grade, they realize I'm a social being. I
Beautiful.
cannot live alone. All the tools they've by now gathered about 12 tools, from 5W1H to looking at causes rather than working on symptoms to everything. They've got now 12 tools that they can use in their life for critical thinking, for self awareness, for introspection, for decision making, for choiceful understanding, for being mindless and mindful, moving from mindlessness to mindful. They have 12 tools. So using these tools is when they look at how can I be an entrepreneur plus a social entrepreneur. How do I re-engineer from the social dimension and use all my capacities so far that I have gathered, including my academic capacity? They have arithmetic capacity, they have so many other capacities, right? So how do I gather all these things and put it for some cause or some use so that I know I can make a difference? Once they understand I can make a difference, you have started off them with their life. They get that euphoria of understanding, hey, all that I learned, all my education was to make a difference. And I have to touch
Wow.
lives. I have to, reach out to people. And then I have to make a difference wherever I go. And therefore, I need to constantly learn and constantly give. So giving and learning becomes a part of life. So this is the curriculum. So that therefore, it is not like suddenly it is introduced when they grow older. It becomes a part of their growing up, part of their educational process. The entire, like how they are learning everything else. So it is not a part academic. It is a part of the academic. Like if I have a problem in learning maths, they have a tool called 5W1H that they will use. What is the problem? Where is the problem occurring? When is it occurring? Why is it so much of a problem? Whom can I go to for support and help, and how can I resolve it? Okay. Or
Wonderful.
if they are having issues in gender, understanding the other gender, and therefore they don't like the other gender, they have a problem, they know how to work with it for themselves. They have a sociability orientation that they work on. They know how to reach out to their parents when they have an issue. Sometimes parents have come and told me also, hey, what did you tell them earlier? My daughter never said sorry, but these days she comes and tells sorry to me when she's done a mistake. What happened? Nothing, that she realized that her beliefs are blocking her.
Mm,
She
mm.
realized that assumptions are becoming a problem, or that boy realized his conclusions are the most important block because of which he is not performing in school very well. And
Mhm.
now that they have a GPS map in 10th grade for their life, no longer anybody has to come and say, why don't you study? Why don't you look at your life? Why don't you take it seriously? It is their life now. They are sitting in the driver's seat. Right? They know if I don't study, I don't get admission. So many of the parents also, many of them come and tell me, how is academic performance getting better? It's getting better not because of anything else, because there's a ownership that is coming to it.
Mm.
You are
Correct.
willing to give that ownership to them, to say, this is your life, boss. You drive the way you want to drive. You don't drive also, there is an implication. So I call it implication theory. So entire EQUBE is built on implication theory. I believe when a human understands the implications of anything that they do, they
Mm.
have a choice of choosing what implications they really want, and therefore automatically things fall in the right positive space.
Amazing. Amazing. I'm just so, blown away with the fact that eCube actually addresses the limiting belief a child has at every stage of their life. Every stage of their life, it addresses the specific emotional needs, specific academic needs, and it's a program which keeps on giving, right? For as far as a child is concerned, it's a program which keeps on giving, which helps them orient themselves in the academic world, also gives them an opportunity to actually introspect and see what is that they don't have. And it's such a wonderful program, ma'am. And really, I just want to talk about a small thing that is, as a millennial, while we were in school, and we had the SUPW period. And it is so unfortunate that we used to refer that as some useful period wasted. And I'm just saying, that is the kind of thought process and mindset that we had. But coming to the current generation, it's an AI driven world. We have so much of access to information. Parents and teachers are in fact overloaded with information. In such a scenario, I would like to know, what are the steps that the parents and teachers can actually ensure in creating an environment in which the students and their life skills thrive and the social consciousness thrives? I get a feeling that even if they are going through the EQUBE curriculum in school, there has to be an environment which supports it.
Certainly, certainly. I'm certainly, I agree with you and I'm with you on that. And one thing we should not forget is most of the conflicts are occurring because sometimes parents upbringing and they are from a different generation, and the current children are Zen Alpha or Zen Z, and you are sometimes they have an upbringing of Zen Y, even though they are millennials, and you are not able to leave that upbringing that is there inside you. So therefore, most of the time, you are only thinking that this is my child. I know it all, and therefore I have to mold you to look like the way I want you to look, isn't
Correct.
it? But the whole idea is you are also new mother.
Yeah.
You are also first time mother. The child is also first time child. Why don't we learn together? Why don't we explore life together? Why am I looking at you as a piece that I can mold and I can change, and you are like some kind of a clay, and I want you to look like this, I want you to do like this. So, first thing that the parents have to understand and know is this is a journey of life. And
Yeah.
in this journey of life, I need to learn as much as the child learns.
Mm-hmm.
This is a co-learning process.
Mm-hmm.
Because say pre-COVID, post-COVID, let us take a small example. Pre-COVID, even you had never seen a pandemic.
Yeah.
Right? And during the COVID time, everybody is seeing a pandemic for the first time.
Yeah.
So therefore, we are learning so many new things, right? We learned how to, the Zoom wouldn't have been there if we didn't have COVID.
Yeah.
Thanks to COVID, you are in Belgium, I am here, we are talking so very well. And it feels like you are just next to me. So
Yeah.
everybody is learning something new. So every year there is something new. So one of the important things I always say is to the parents is be the model and
Mm-hmm.
learn along with the children. Children actually very less listen to you. Children observe more and learn from who you are. Children don't actually listen to your sermons.
Mm-hmm.
That is not making so much sense to them as much as whom they watch you to be makes more sense. So if you want to build social consciousness or anything like that, you should be socially conscious.
Yes.
You
Yes.
should want to do several things. And another thing that I also see is somewhere over a period of time, everybody they change. See, you when you were you hated many of the things, perhaps your parents and aunts and uncles and grandparents, everybody said you felt very restricted, everything. But the time you become mother, you also start stereotyping life. We all
Yeah.
stereotype life. We are not able to have an inclusive society for diversity. But on the other hand, we know every child is unique, every person is unique, they have their own talent. That also we know in our brain. On another end, how can you have a common solution? Every school they go, a parent teacher meeting, common solutions for most of the kids. How is it
Mm-hmm.
possible? The
Correct.
parent has to think, why am I stereotyping life? Let me gather and understand what my child wants to do. Why am I putting them into professions like a stereotype? Still I see that even today, I see that same thing like, okay, you have to study, you have to do. It's very interesting. They have one, if I have the time, I'll quote this because it's very important. In
Yeah.
10th
Please.
grade, I give one exercise to children to say that imagine you're 60-year-old today. Okay. And you are being introduced for an event.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So write the way you want your introduction to be, what all you must have done in your life, how you developed. But this is not a career introduction. This is about you as a person. So you write everything. By reading what they are writing, I know what their family life is. I would see sometimes children writing like, I have a child and we are at the beach and we go to a lot of vacations and, we have 2 cars and we own this, we own that. I will own, somebody else writes, I will own 12 dogs. Somebody else asks. So I generally ask them, so what does your parents do? So some have deep career orientation, some have total
Mm-hmm.
family orientation, some have. So what does it mean? It simply means that the children are learning as much from the household as much as they are from the school.
Yeah.
So there is equal responsibility of what the household has to do, and you cannot stereotype things and judge them for everything. If parents can be flowing, if the parents can be learning, if the parents can be exploring and totally be happy to be parenting,
Mm.
and think that they have been given another 30 years with their children to learn and grow and evolve, I'm sure the child will have a very different environment together,
Beautiful,
isn't
beautiful. Like,
Huh?
I have
They
no
can sit
words to
and
say.
discuss and review everything they can do. No, anything goes wrong, they can review. Somebody failed, they can talk about that. At least that is how both my children I have seen. My son, if he fails, I've all had a discussion when his
Mm.
marks is little less in maths and his third grade or fourth grade. I've always had discussion about what can we do? Why did you have this? Do you think we could have done that? And he's come with the best of the solution. There is no looking back after that. Right? So actually, children are also having solutions. They don't need to be tutored. Suddenly, where are we feeling we have grown up, we are in a better place. But when it comes to teachers, most of the time they think that as long as performance is maintained, as long as the school has got all its awards and laurels, the schools, I'm sorry, I'm going to be really straightforward. The schools and teachers, everybody is thrives on that 5% who score the most.
Mm. Yeah.
Okay, what happens to the rest of the 95% in class?
Mhm.
Okay, in the rest of the 95%, let's say another 30% are a cat on the wall. They can jump to higher score, they can jump this way, that way. What happens to the last 30%?
Mm.
Isn't it? So, somewhere we are looking at performance as a very important ingredient than education. Let's understand education.
Yeah.
It is not about performance. And I'm seeing most of the children today who are stressed, who are committing suicide, who don't want to live, who are
Mm.
frustrated, who are having mental health problems are all products of performance evaluations.
Mm. Yeah.
Because everybody we start looking at performance. So that is where I want to dispel that. Please look at education completely. Literacy is different. Educated is different. Educated is somebody who's matured enough. Look at the maturity of the life of the child. Look at the ability of the child to handle every failure and let them have failures. Why are you worried? We push them so much to have successes, but we have not taught them what is failure. So they come out in life and one failure in their job, one failure in their marriage, one failure in anything, they want to take their life off because they are not able to handle it. So we have not organically developed and built them and grown them in schools. We have
Mhm.
made them into performance buffs, and parents are also wanting to have that performance because everybody thinks. And today, because of social media, I'm very worried. One
Mm.
child really asked me this, in fourth grade last week. I was disturbed when I was talking to a fourth grade child, and she said, what is your, I'm generally talking, so biggest, stress or fear. I don't know when my mom will take my photograph, make a reel of it, or put it on a social.
Oh.
Now today parents are, how well my daughter talks, how well my son does, how well they, so they have become objects of social media and children don't like it. Have
Mhm.
you ever checked with them, hey, you want to be on the reel? Hey, you want to say this? Is this what you want? Because performance starts right from there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Isn't it? Huh? And now we are giving graduation ceremony to the lower KG and upper KG. Imagine, no, you're putting, it's very nice to put the gown on and the hat on it. But what are you telling for the other people who are not doing it? What are you saying? You're saying that your performance is not good enough.
Mm.
And you're making them all the time be stressed out on what performance they are giving. So,
Mm.
can we go away from all these things and just lead life beautifully?
Yes.
Earlier Gurukulams had this. Not that they didn't have evaluation, they had evaluation. But during the evaluation, the children themselves learned what I need to learn more.
Mm.
That is how you have to see evaluation, right?
Yeah.
I know these things. I need to learn this more. I have to improve on this. I can do in that very much better. Maybe this is my area of interest. That is what child should know after every exam. But today, child is so worried. Today, so many parents are worried in India because one of those ICSE or CBSE results are out today for 10th graders. So many of the parents I know are worried. So
Yeah.
why should they worry about it? Like, why should our education system thrive on those spaces? That is
Yeah.
my question. You know,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
is
It's a
where,
very, very relevant and important question.
so that is where for AI, it is just not about AI. Children can still use AI, chat boxes, everything for writing their answers, but will they be able to analyze it? Will
Yeah.
they be able to make it relevant? Will they be able to connect the dots and see what needs to be done in any place? So we still have so much education to do.
Yeah,
AI
yeah.
will not replace anything. It will only make maybe processes faster.
Yeah.
It will help them, but we still have a lot of work to do, I feel, with regard to the students.
I completely agree on that, especially when you're talking about performance. We are not just talking about their student life or when they're going to college. It is a lifelong thing because once you are always thinking about your performance, somehow it becomes ingrained in you that you are not worthy because you're not performing enough. And that could cause a lot of anxiety, a lot of issues stems within you because of that throughout your life. It's not just during your student life or your college life. It's something you have to live with. And we're talking about social action projects, which is one of the star projects in within EQUBE. And there are so many projects which are so technically brilliant. And I just came across one of it, which is addressing scarcity, and it's called the atmosphere generator of
Yes.
and there is yet another social action project which is about giving sanitary napkins using reusable materials. So these are the some of the news that I came across through the social action projects and through your YouTube channel. I am interested to know a little bit more about these projects, and can you name like three projects which are your personal favorites and which has impacted a lot of lives?
Pavithra, every year I get 750. Today, this year, 780 projects. You're asking for three. Very difficult. It's a Herculean task.
We
So
should
give
have
me a
one
little
hour
more than
podcast.
give me a little more than three. I will just quickly summarize for you. See,
Yeah.
SAP, we call this as social action project, SAP, SAP.
Mhm,
It
mhm,
could
mhm,
also be school action project. It could
mm,
also be self action project sometimes. So some of the things I'll give you on different categories. So you did speak about, everything. I ask the children that you look at everyday life, identify from it, and then pick it up. That's how the social action project is picked up.
mhm,
So one boy was going along with his father, and the car went into a pothole in the mid of the night at around 8:30 because the other opposite car was coming with high beam light. So the
mhm,
driver did not dip it. So when they
mhm,
both the cars don't dip, you cannot see what is happening down. And the mother got a backache that day, very severe backache, because she went and
mhm,
hit the. But she was not
mhm,
wearing belt, so she hit the car on top, and then she got a backache. So he developed, as he said, he was thinking, why did this happen? I should do something about it. And suddenly he realized, why are we thinking that a driver should talk to driver? Why can't the car talk to another car?
mhm,
Okay, so he developed a sensor, possibility of a sensor that when the other vehicle is coming, this will dip automatically. Then, while
wow.
doing this, he realized that when there is a four lane road, when there is like the other cars coming on the other lane, also this will dip because sensor is picking up. So
Mm,
he developed a kind of the closers to the end of the sensors in a way that only if the car is in the same lane and opposite, it will react.
mhm,
Okay, and they even told him he should build it up much better and give it to any of the large automotive, this one. So I mean, that's one of the futuristic things. I want to start an incubation possibility for all these people because they have such good ideas and such good things, that we should. So this is one kind. Like this, I have many things. I also have something like cycling for health. A person who developed a complete and worked on all diabetes and hypertension. Many people in the apartment by using cycling as a process.
wow.
Somebody has developed an app connecting the elders in the entire apartment. They have a 2,500 apartment
Mm,
complex. So elders, he developed an app where all the elders are there and they put their requirements. Like I want to go to the hospital tomorrow, and their children are abroad. They are alone. Similarly,
mm,
the whole group of women and other people in the apartment who have the time with them would like to help, but they don't know whom to go and help. So
mm,
if they put this in the app, that somebody may say, I'll come along with you. Or I
wow.
need to get something tested. I know this lab, I will call them and help you. I need some grocery to be bought. I'm going grocery shopping. Send me your list. I will get it for you. So many things like that, like a subsystem. Like I can't, my child is not good in Kannada or, any regional language. And there's one elder who says, I can give tuitions in the evening. I'm free. I'm at home. So there's a very wonderful app where both
Wow.
can subsystem really work. Simple, no small thing, but it's an app and it's an intra app of the apartment that he tried out. And there is something like, another very interesting thing that I saw was something known as thrash mob. Even before
Mhm,
our Swachh Bharat, everything came, thrash mob became a big issue. It was on all papers where
mhm,
a person went ahead, one of the boys went ahead to see how can he get, whoever is like any corporate is doing an event or whatever it is, how can they collect a set of volunteers who will take all the trash at the end of it and ensure it is recycled in a proper way, ensure it has been given to the right place so that the place is spick and span. So in an apartment, how to do it, in a lane, how to do it. He developed the entire process for it, and he became actually right now he has even finished his engineering, working elsewhere with a lot of continuing that social action projects. Very interesting one was a girl whose mother was undergoing terminal illness,
mhm.
and she came and told me, I cannot do anything. I said, why don't you do a home projects, social action project for right now? She said, can I then work with my mom and keep her happy till the last day of her life? I said, please do. She made a bucket list. She took her to every place that the mother wanted to go. And incidentally, she was never accompanying her to the cancer chemotherapy or anything. So now she started accompanying. So she found pediatric oncology department there. She started working with the little children there in art and craft and singing songs and painting, reading storybooks to them. And she made her actually, a mother passed away before she presented the SAP. It is unfortunate, but she made a promise to her mother that I will become a pediatric oncologist in my life.
Oof.
And she got over 92% in 10th grade, went ahead to study medicine. So for me, it is like the social action projects are life transforming and changing. And as of today, I have over 18 of them who are already social entrepreneurs running the projects. One, Namrata Hangla, is really good. She's named her project Dazzling Stars in 10th grade. Today, she's recruiting in LinkedIn. You can just Google Namrata and put Dazzling Stars. She's across in, I think, over 15 cities in India. She's recruiting, she's working on it. Another ace student is Vibha Nadik. The
Mhm.
three of them that you asked. Vibha Nadik started a new idea called Nyayamitras. Nyayamitras are people who give legal education and who also give legal support to every village. These are ASHA workers and people like that who are trained to be middle level advocates. They are not advocates, but
Mhm.
every legal aid can be got through them. And after that, you can go to an advocate if you need. They can file FIRs. They can help you in abuse, with domestic violence and abuse. They can help you with child abuse. They can help you with all the things legally that you need to do. They are well educated to tell you all the subsidies government is giving. They can take care of all the health related issues. So
Mhm.
she's training them. She has over 35 of them, I think, by now, and she's expanding continually. So these are kind of projects which has come out after they have finished their engineering or law
Wow.
or any professional course. These are all our students. So I know that EQUBE has impacted very deeply because it is a transformational process. It
Mhm.
is not just a learning process. It's not about marks. It's not about award that I get. Of course, we are now giving awards because we want to recognize them so that the rest of the children will also be enthused, enough to see that, hey, there is something that I can do, and therefore that work does get recognition. It's not a thankless job after all. But
Correct.
at the same time, these are some of the projects that has come. And of course, Shreya and Advait, I've always mentioned. They've come back. Now they have taken over EFIL as faculty. And
Wow.
they're EQUBE trainers. My own students are EQUBE trainers now. They're going to digitalize the entire thing and future, owners of our company. Can you believe they started their NGO and we have merged our NGO with their NGO now? It's become one part of it. So we give academic solution as well as life education solution through them. And
Is it the
all of
NGO
them are
called Sitaraka? Is it
Sitaraka.
the
Yeah,
same?
they
It is
are
the
the
same NGO.
Sitaraka.
Okay,
Same
wow.
NGO. Sitaraka and
Wonderful.
EFIL Trust is coming together. And we are supporting the government schools and all others through them. So because they anyway EQBites, right? So they have
Yes.
developed a lot of videos using our concepts now. So it's amazing. It's a
Wonderful,
beautiful
wonderful.
journey, Pavitra.
I had a smile throughout you. It was such a journey. I was smiling. I was feeling emotional listening to the kind of projects they have done, and most importantly, I'm beaming with pride. And I'm truly envious of what they have got through EQUBE, and I wish I had something like that while I was growing up. Um, and there is one I would like to ask, like one last question before we wind up the interview, and that is about. So it has been 18 years since you have established EQUBE. What are some of the most memorable milestones, and what do you think that schools could improve upon? What are these two things?
Yeah, memorable milestones was when we initially started, we had to literally convince parents why it is important and allow the
Yes.
children to. Many of them fought with me saying, why are you sending my child to a slum? Why are you wasting their 10th grade time? They have to be going to tuitions. Why are you wasting? Sometimes teachers did not take us seriously. They used our classes to say that, oh, let's do little more of math. It's
Mhm,
okay because we have both direct, indirect method, right?
mhm,
Wherein the teachers themselves run in some of the schools. Initially, they were not understanding.
mm.
And also, another challenge that I had many a time is student thoughts it's extracurricular. They'll ask me, ma'am, will we get marks for this? Is the marks counted? That is the kind of children we had earlier.
Yeah,
We had to
yeah, yeah.
tell them that it's not about marks being counted, it's about life being counted. But how could I, because I'm elderly, I've seen life, I understand, but they don't, right? They haven't seen. And in other places, I had this difficulty because they come from upper middle class and, kind of a thing that they have not seen hunger. Do you know many children don't know what is hunger?
Yeah,
Because we have
yeah,
fed them even before they have felt hunger. So there was no, they were wondering, why am I wasting my time to do all these things? These were our initial challenges.
yeah, yeah.
The transformational time was COVID.
Mhm.
In COVID, every school said if we can sacrifice anything, we can sacrifice subject, we want EQ. So
Oh,
all our
wow.
students did so much work during COVID. Imagine they rolled chapatis for the migrant workers. They fed their maids with food and groceries and other things. They gave tea and coffee to the chowkidas who sat there because no shop was open. They taught the children of the maids all the English and math and everything at home. Suddenly, children felt like I know what to do. I have been told what to do. I have all these things with me that I can make a difference. Each child was beaming on the video. We were doing Zoom call classes and Google Meet classes, but they are beaming on the video to say, ma'am, I know how to help. And one girl did a classic one called, she made Atmanirbhar Me. That was her project name.
Wow.
Because she said, I'm dependent on everybody. So, right from the column that she put in the front of her house to cooking to everything, she equipped herself during COVID time to say, if I have to live my life alone, how can I do it? That transformed so much, Pavithra. That really
Wonderful.
changed. Pandemic brought everybody to a kind of a grounded to say that, oh my God, this can happen. I have to get my children to certainly learn how to live by themselves, certainly learn how the society needs them, how to make use of it. So this is an important milestone for me. The other one is initially when I started, the parents started coming and joining me as a community. See,
Mhm.
even till today, we don't have anything like recruitment. I'm not advertising. I'm not getting people as my faculty, nothing. People walk in. Okay, because I think when you do divine work, the consciousness sends the right people to do the right things. That is my belief, and that
Yeah.
helps me a lot. So the parents started coming. After that, now the students have started coming in. Ma'am, can I help you? Can I take classes? Can I do? For me, it's a full cycle. In fact, 2 months back, one of the girls called me and said, "My grandmother is very excited with EQ books that she has seen. She wants to join as a faculty. Do you think you will have some space in your organization that she can contribute to?" So it is like it's very interesting that they are coming and asking me, "Can my mother join? Can she do something else? Can I take her to help?" And parents are saying, "I am suddenly enjoying doing the work along with my child." Going to
Yeah.
a volunteering or
Yeah.
working with the society. I've never done this. I'm doing it. So it's a huge shift. It's a complete transformative shift for us. World is growing, world is changing. The Gen Zs and Gen Alpha, I love them. They're amazing souls.
Beautiful.
They're actually amazing souls, and they all need is space, freedom, support, love, and help to blossom. If we can allow them to blossom, I am certainly sure our future society, whatever technology issues or whatever, society is going to be more integrated, more helpful, more down to earth, more organic, everything. We are the worst lot in between in the transition. Actually, the next few generations are going to be fantastic.
Such a positive note to end this interview, ma'am. I can actually speak to you for hours because so many of the things that you have spoken today, it deeply resonates with me, like I told you before. And I think this is going to be a very informative and probably very thought-provoking session for when our listeners listen to it. And thank you so much, ma'am, once again for joining Touch Life Foundation, being a part of TAL Talks, and also for being a part of this interview. And we really hope to do lot more of work with you because I think yours is a voice that needs to be heard. So thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm overwhelmed. Thank you so much. I'm so glad our next 10 years is only about outreach, only about reaching out, only dissemination. Having been doing all these things for 35 years, there's a time when everything can go outside and support and help everybody else. So thank you so much for making this a possibility for us.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, Pavithra.
With on that note, we are getting to the end of this episode, and this is your host Pavithra Krishnakumar signing off.